horror night. Ha 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 ha.
This is a story sent by Eric. He used to drive up to Malaysia from Singapore often. Let's listen to his story. I used to drive up to Malaysia quite often for short holiday. On one particular trip, I was driving to Penang along North-South Highway late at night. I was with my wife in the car. As it was not during the peak season, for most stretch of the journey, mine was the only car on the dark road. My wife was sleeping when we were approaching Ipoh. Out of nowhere there was this terrible stench that envelops us, right in the car. It got so bad my wife woke up and asked me what's the smell. That smell, it was like some carcass or rotting meat. So pungent, so strong. At that point we sensed something was amiss. Then I remembered an uncle who had a similar experience. I recalled that he told me that his car had a stench smell at night, and subsequently his car broke down right beside a cemetery. It was only after he opened the window the stench went away and his car kick-started again. Ipoh Highway is quite infamous for their own tales, so I was hoping not here please. So I told my wife to go back to sleep, while I opened the window a little for ventilation. But the smell still lingered. While I was still driving, there was a small car behind mine. It overtook me on my right and drove beside me. I heard the other car honk at us. In my heart, I was wondering if there will be a potential robber who will cause trouble to us. As I turned my head to look at the car, I saw an old Malay couple in the car. The old lady was sitting on the passenger seat while the old man was driving. The passenger window was wound down halfway and the old lady signaled to me with her right finger pointing up. She muttered hotty hotty and quat. I was puzzled as the car accelerated and drove past us. With a little knowledge of Malay, I understood that she meant be careful and quat. Be careful of what? The stench still lingered and suddenly it clicked in my mind. Was it a Pontianak? Immediately I had goosebumps all over my hands and up to my neck. I uttered whatever prayers I could and hoped that Pontianak disappear. As what it felt like eternity, I could see the lighted toll area. Thankfully, as I approached the tolls, the smell dispersed. I think she just wanted a lift. Karak Highway is notoriously known as the haunted highway of Malaysia. The Karak Highway that connects Kuala Lumpur to Genting Highlands is one of the creepiest highways in Malaysia. Its dark, long, windy and accident-prone roads have attracted a host of ghost stories that send shivers down the spine of motorists who drive by. This is a story about the family car that broke down by the highway. It was the festive season and just like any other Malaysian, a young couple and their baby were traveling on the Karak Highway at night headed home. Everything was fine until they reached a lonely stretch on the highway and their car broke down. The husband was surprised. He made sure to service the car before their trip. He stopped the car by the side of the road to check the engine while his wife and baby waited inside. He tried fixing the car, but nothing worked. And so he waited, hoping a kind Samaritan would stop and offer them help. It is peak season after all, there should be cars passing by. However, 20 minutes passed and there was not a soul to be seen. As it was getting late, the only choice he had left was to go to the nearest phone booth to call for help. He was worried, but he had no choice but to leave his family waiting alone in the car. Lock the doors and take care, he told his wife before leaving. She watched as he walked away, trying to ignore her worries. Minutes passed and soon hours, but her husband was still gone. She waited and waited. Suddenly, a police patrol car approached her. Two policemen got out of the car and walked towards her vehicle. They told her to quietly step out of the vehicle and stressed that she should not look around while she did so. The wife carried her baby and walked with the policeman. When she was at a safe distance, she looked back at her car and blood drained from her face. Her husband's bodiless head was lying on top of the car. Other versions say her husband was headless on the car, with a banshee-like creature feasting on him. It had banged on the car roof. She did not hear a thing. Have you seen the yellow Volkswagen on the Karak Highway? Many motorists reported meeting this ghostly car, only at night. It was said that the yellow Volkswagen will block your lane. First it will move very slowly, forcing you to overtake it. Once you have overtaken it and continue moving along, you will notice the same yellow Volkswagen in front of you. It'll drive very slowly, once again challenging you to overtake it. Overtake it again, and after a short while you will see the same yellow Volkswagen driving slowly in front of you. As long as you keep overtaking this car, you see it in front of you again, and again, and again. They say if you look closely in the car, you would notice that there is no one in the driver's seat. If you see the yellow Volkswagen on the Karak Highway, it's best not to overtake it as it will keep reappearing in front of you, potentially luring you into an accident. If you are lucky, it would speed up and disappear into the darkness. Thank you to all for dropping by YouTube channel. Remember to like and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification button to be the first to be notified of new videos. Also hit the share button if you like what you are listening to.